Hello, YouTube!
Welcome back to another KNLG movie review with
Lost Guy 17.
and the Cryptonova. Today we will be reviewing World War Z.
World War Z is another story based on the concept of the risen dead, which starts off with Jerry Lane, a former UN investigator played by Brad Pitt, and his family stuck in traffic as they witness the beginning of the zombie apocalypse, which starts 5 minutes into the movie and hits us like a Mack truck into a brick wall. Explosions and zombies running around attacking people is how they kick off this epic thriller.
During the chaos, Jerry and his family are evacuated to a safe zone, which he has to leave to help the UN.
His mission? Figure out how to end the zombie plague. His wife and kids are safe with the military as long as Jerry could stay alive long enough to get the job done.
But as we saw, once the military thought Jerry had died, they were kicked off the ship and sent to a safe zone in Nova Scotia. But luckily, Jerry did figure out a temporary vaccine which makes him invisible to the undead. In the end, Jerry reunites with his family after finding the temporary vaccine.
Okay, so in my opinion of this movie, let me think. Freaking awesome! I love this movie. Seriously, in my opinion, this is the best movie I've seen in a very, very, very long time. Some may say I might be overboosting this a little bit, but I don't think so. This movie was fantastic. Excuse my grammar, but the epicness of this movie is through the roof. This is by far my favorite zombie apocalypse movie as of yet. No doubt.
I agree. My opinion on this movie is that it was very enjoyable, with tons of explosions and non-stop action. This movie was one of the most entertaining movies I've seen this year, and it just left me wanting more. Overall, this movie was very exciting and just straight up awesome.
The acting in this movie by every actor was brilliant, to say the least. And so for my MVP this week in World War Z is Matthew Fox, who played the shooter in the helicopter and had a whole 2 lines. No? No one? Okay, I was just kidding. I had to give that shout out because he played Jack in Lost. As you all know, that is the original intent of my channel. So shout out to all my Lost fans and subscribers out there. But anyways, for real, my MVP for this week's movie, World War Z, is quite obvious. Drum roll, please. Brad Pitt as Jerry Lane is getting the award this week simply because he has had the best performance of the year, in my opinion. I was blown away. I tip my cap to him. Great job, Brad.
I totally agree with you. The acting for this movie was amazing. The actors were very well chosen, and they did a great job, especially Brad Pitt in his role as Jerry Lane. I also thought that the actress who played, sorry if I pronounced this wrong, Zeden, did a great job as Jerry's accomplice throughout most of the movie. If I could summarize all the acting in one word, it would be spectacular. Now we are going to talk about the soundtrack. I really liked the soundtrack for this movie. It really made it more dramatic and epic. When I first saw this movie, I thought that it was probably going to be like most other zombie movies. The same old boring soundtrack. But when I heard it, it was really surprised at how nice the music was. My favorite song being Isolated by Muse. Overall, the soundtrack was amazing and probably one of my favorite soundtracks in the movie, and that's saying a lot.
Marco Beltrami, the composer, is very good with suspense. He adds a quality which is an unexpected feel to the music for a movie of this scale, which is really thrilling. He adds much emotion with the music, which is really what it's about, with Jerry having to leave his family and all. It is really important that there is an emotional connection that the audience feels, and I know that I felt it while watching this movie. And so I think the composer, Marco Beltrami, did a wonderful job. I heard something that he actually made rhythmical sounds with the jaws of animal skulls, opening and closing them. It's a really neat sound and goes well with the music. It sort of feels like what they did with the music for this movie hasn't really been done before. It's really the glue that ties everything together.
Now for my favorite part, animation. In this movie, there was a lot of animation. Almost all of the zombies were animated, except for a few ones that had close-ups, where you really had to pay attention. But for me, the animation wasn't the best. I've seen some better zombies before, but it was still okay. You might disagree with me, saying that the animation was amazing, but I have seen some really awesome animation before. For example, if you want to see some really good animation, watch Alien Resurrection. That movie had some of the best animation I've ever seen, and that's saying something.
The animation was very good for this movie. The zombies were very, well, let's say, dead. But like Krypton always said, they were not perfect. But still good in my opinion, and were perfect fitting for this movie. And I really love the fact how fast they ran, because that's not how other zombie movies portray zombies to be. And just everything about the animation was very good in my opinion. I do feel like they could have added a little more gore and blood, considering it is a zombie apocalypse movie, but overall, good job.
Now we are going to be giving our ratings, so would you like to give yours first?
Sure. Lost Guys giving this movie a 9 out of 10.
Nice.
Perfect movie. Loved it.
Yeah. But I'm going to have to disagree. As I said before, I'm just like a sucker for animation. If a movie's good, that's one thing, but if a movie's good and has good animation, that's like completely different. But since this movie didn't have the best animation, I'm gonna have to go down a bit lower, give it an 8.
An 8. Wow, okay. So I guess that's a combined rating of 8.5. For KNLG, that's a 8.5 rating for World War Z.
That's still pretty good.
Indeed.
Okay, well, I hope you enjoyed our review, and we hope to see you next time.
Please comment with whatever movies you want us to be doing next, and we'll let you know about when we'll be combining and making a collab channel. Until then, next week, KNLG movie review. Thank you for listening, guys.